Hey everybody, Forever Richer 82 here. Uh, we're going to do something a little different today, but first of all, I want to apologize for having used the headset. My microphone wants to be a piece of shit. It keeps buzzing and I can't get it to stop, and I've tried many different methods that I've used in the past that usually work when I had this problem prior to today, and unfortunately it just won't cooperate with me. It just won't. So I'm stuck using this piece of shit Plantronics headset because I have nothing else. And of course I'm a broke ass fuckhead, so I don't necessarily have the funds to get a new microphone. I can just either use a headset or pray that this one fixes itself. It's I was gonna show it to the camera, but fuck it, I don't want to yank it out of the USB port because it's a Fosman, F-O-S-M-O-N-M-A-N. I can't read that right now, but anyways, today we're gonna do something a little different. And I apologize if I sound exhausted. I just rode 20 miles on a goddamn exercise bike. I'm exhausted. I really am exhausted. But I want to get this video out there because I want to make consistent, at least a video a week, too, if I'm lucky. So, anyways, we're gonna do a kind of like a review play thingamajig. Call it what you will. It's basically I'm not endorsed to sell this product. I'm not being paid by anybody or anything in terms of this, what I'm about to do. But there is something that I think most of you would appreciate. I'll show that in just a second, because there's something I need to address. Now, as you notice, if you collect retro games and things of that nature, you notice that the prices are stupid expensive. Everything is just dumb price. Everything is priced so high that it's just beyond ridiculous, to the point where it's like no point in collecting anymore. I stopped collecting. In fact, I get repros, because repros are starting to come down in price. They're no longer like $60 anymore. They're like anywhere from $10 to $15 to $20. I got a Terranigma NTSC with NTSC and English translation. I got a repro of Terranigma. I got a repro of translated Seiken Densetsu 3, also known as Secret of Mana 2. And I also got a repro of Ninja Gaiden Trilogy for the SNES because I always wanted that since it came out. But when it came out, I was still young and I wasn't able to find any kind of job or work. Thus, I could never get the game, and I think it was very short-lived in terms of shelf space, because I don't think it had a long production run at all. I mean, it's nothing special. It's just the 3 NES games that haven't been upgraded much at all, and the music is worse. It's terrible. There's just a sentimental reason why I wanted it, so I got it, and it was only $20. And Christmas or December was a damn good month. I got a lot of Christmas money from different corners, and it was really cool to be able to buy certain things. But anyways, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. But as I was saying before, NES games are stupid expensive. SNES games are worse. Genesis games are also some of the worst prices I've seen in terms of retro gaming pickups. So what do you do when you're in that predicament? Well, you can do quite a few things, actually. You can get an emulator and get all the ROMs and look up different ROM sites and get games that you like, or be a G.I. Joe, like what I like to call it, and just go to a game site that has the entire ROM set of the United States games listed, that are games that were launched here in the West here. Can't speak worth a shit tonight. And the same goes with SNES and so forth. You can get full ROM sets if you know where to go and where to look. So, which is a good thing, because you want to be able to find in which that you want to play. And thankfully, we got places like ROM Hacking who like to translate games that are in Japanese or in another language, mostly Japanese. But that's besides the point. And they also do translations for other nations that didn't get those said games. Like, there's a lot of Spanish translations of games that were released in America, but not in Mexico. So, hey, thumbs up to the hacking community. They're not all evil. Anyways, there's always the gray area of emulation, and a lot of people are just, fuck you, just fuck off. The shit's old. I mean, yeah, they re-release it in digital form and they make money off that, but not very much. So fuck it. You know, if you just want to play the damn game and don't want to, just you don't care like me. I don't give a fuck. You know, there are other options, which brings to this little thing. This is the Super Games 150-in-1. Now, most multi-cart games are shite. And what I mean by shit is absolute garbage. They'll have the same 6 to 10 games repeated over and over and over again. This one does not have that problem. It has some of the most questionable box art, though. I mean, why is this in 1987 and showing Mega Man? Well, Rockman was released in 1987. Yeah, so that could very well be it, but why? What's the point? Never mind. But this is a pretty damn good multi-cart. It does legitimately have 151 games, and there's no repeats. In fact, you know, a lot of people would consider this illegal because you're buying a multi-cart with a bunch of games. Basically, it's an NES that runs ROMs on the actual hardware. Well, like I said, I don't give a fuck. Alright, I could give a fuck less, and if you don't, then you owe it to yourself to buy one of these. Because why the hell go out there and spend like $500 for the whole goddamn Double Dragon or Ninja Gaiden trilogy when both of those are on this multi-cart? Yeah, all of them. All 3 Double Dragon games, all Ninja Gaiden games, all the Ninja Turtle games that were released in America are on this cart. Which is great. It has the first 2 Castlevania games, but not the third. I think that's a mapper problem. Not entirely sure. I'm not too techie on the NES side of things. I just know basic stuff. I think it has to do with the mapper. And it also has Kirby's Adventure, which can be saved. Now, most of the people that have reviewed this are fucking idiots. They just sit there and they're like, oh yeah, this has this and this and this, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But there's a difference between me and those fuckers. We're going to try every single one of these games. Except for the Rockman games. Notice I said Rockman and not Mega Man. You want to know why? I don't know what dumb schmuck put this thing together, but they thought it was a good idea to put the Japanese games of Mega Man on here instead of the American ones. Don't know why that is, and it confuses me. Now, if you don't know what Mega Man is, fucking go play it. Seriously, if you haven't played Mega Man, there's no need for me to show Mega Man. And besides, I'd have to go through 7 games, actually. They have the Rockman board game, if you're not familiar with that. And that will just take too long. I just want to go into the game, show a little bit of gameplay, and talk about it. And that's pretty much how this is going to go. Now, luckily I was able to find a rip of this to show on a emulator. It's not the exact same one. It has a little intro screen that this one doesn't have. But it's still the same card. So anyways. So let me shrink my hellaciously fat face. Ooh, do you believe in magic? Well, I don't, so fuck off. Right. Okay. Let's unpause emulation. Okay. Yeah, so you get like this fucked up Sonic looking thing, and yeah. It's Japanese, I'm sorry, Chinese bullshit. Anyways, it's this bullshit. Okay, so this is your menu screen. Now, we're not going to do Rockman's 1 through 6 or even the board game, because you know what Mega Man is. And the board game is nothing special. Now, this, on the other hand, we are going to load. Which also brings me to what I really hate about this cart. Oh, wrong button. Okay. This is Seirei Densetsu Lickle, also known as Little Samson. It's the Japanese game. Okay. This game was released in fucking America as Little Samson. Why did you not put the ROM on there? Anyways, it doesn't matter. There is like, if memory serves me, the ending didn't have any kind of text. Anyways, if you haven't seen Little Samson, this is basically what it is. You have Little Samson, the dragon, forgot the name of. Yeah, this shows how ignorant I am with gaming. So we'll play Samson stage. He has a little catchy theme. He throws bells and clings to walls, and this game was very late released by Taito. Taito was like one of the last companies, if not the last company, to make games on the NES, well, next to Nintendo, with Wario Woods being the final game made by Nintendo on the NES, which was released in 1994. It's a pretty shitty puzzle game. I don't like it. Some people do, and I apologize if you like the game. I was not a fan of it. I got the SNES game, and I bought it blindly because, well, back in the day, before I was able to afford internet, I had to buy shit blindly. Oh, great, we got these fucking one-eyed monsters. They're like penises just growing on the side of a fucking wall. Interesting. Actually, it's not. It's pretty awful. Right. So, you know, it's your standard platforming goodness. Each character has their own attributes. I would like to show them all off, so... Like I said, this is going to be like a long video thing, because I want to show all these games off. You know, give me a little break from those Let's Plays, because I tell you, that last time, my blood pressure was not good. I actually had to lay down after I got off. Blood pressure was 178 over 99. Yeah. No bueno. I know it's just it's a video game, but you gotta understand, video games has been my life since, well, since I was born into this shitty world. My first system being an Atari 5200. My parents bought it pretty much when I was born, because they kind of liked video games. My dad was a big pole position fan, and my mom liked Centipede and Millipede, so we got those for the Atari 5200. Now, our controller did not break. No. The power supply caught fire. Me and my father were playing Missile Command. We had these Missile Command marathons on Fridays and Saturdays, because we were just bored as shit. And that's what we would do. You know, Mom would get pissed off because I was up till like 7 o'clock, up with my dad just playing Missile Command all night. Good times, good times. Anyways, this is the dragon. He can fly for a little bit and shoot fire, and it curves upward, which is awkward, and you can also charge. Hold the B button until he turns red, and then boom. No, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. So yeah, it's, you know, simple stuff. It's really fun though, and if you like platformers like me, you'll find joy in it. I mean, any platformer fan of this type of game will enjoy it. I mean, this was during like the prime of platforming. I mean, it existed before this game, but this is when it was perfected, at least in my opinion. I mean, it's not perfect by all means. It's no. Game's a lot of fun though. This is Little Samson, if you need to remember the name. Sound like a goddamn QVC bitch. Okay, this is item number 3458. It's a ring that's shaped like a penis. Notice it's phallic shape. Never mind. And they repeat the item number. Whatever. Anyways, this is the this guy can take a lot of damage, and his special ability is kind of like Dhalsim from Street Fighter, just stretchy, punchy, you know, like Stretch Armstrong. Now this guy will get you through a lot of places that have spikes, because he seems to be impervious to them, which I will show you in just a minute. Okay, so those are spikes, right? It's a spiked platform. Well, just doesn't bother him at all. And that you can use the characters to your advantage when you play this game, because after this first part, these are just intro stages. It basically shows you how to use each character, or you can get a feel for them. Which is not a bad idea. I mean, instead of just throwing you to the lions. Okay, you're pissing me off, and you can't shoot you know what? Fuck it. Alright. Can't shoot diagonally, you can only shoot up and sideways. Can you shoot down? Oh, you can shoot down too. Okay. Don't want. God damn it! Keep getting hit. Because this the way he attacks is kind of annoying. Enemies will either be too high or too low, and it's annoying as shit. All right. Now we'll just go to the mouse, and then after that we'll switch games. The only reason I'm playing this one a lot is so you can just get a generalized idea of how this plays. Of course, if you haven't played fucking Little Samson, you know, you need to get your ass on an emulator and play it. It's a fantastic game. It's not perfect by any means, but it's really fun. It's got good tunes, and I think the game looks, for an 8-bit game, is gorgeous. It's got good art. The mouse is the biggest piece of shit, though, because he dies within 2 hits, and I mean, you can get these heart containers, and that helps that, but that's besides the point. And he's fast, too, of course. But he's just, his attack sucks. This music is catchy, okay? Fuck off. I mean, seriously, I listen to NES music, just like some of you guys listen to whatever new rates, that shit garbage on the radio. Which you guys call music. I don't call it music, I call it garbage, because that's what it is. Unless you listen to a classic rock station. Okay, well that's Little Samson, and basically the next part here is the dragon gets pissed at Little Samson for some reason, knocks this thing out of the way that takes you to where you need to be, and you get into a fight, and the dragon boss is actually a little on the difficult side. But maybe I can do a playthrough of this in the future. But until then, let's go to the next game. Okay, next game is Dragon Fighter, made by Natsume, and it was actually released here in the West by Sawful, out of all companies. They made I believe they made the Wall Street Kid games. Correct me if I'm wrong. This game is... See, Natsume and some Japanese dude, we don't know. Right. This game's a little bland. It's got good music. Notice it's the same music as you hear in the menu system. Now, the American cart's the same way. It's the Japanese game released in America. And I don't understand. You know, because some of these games are American. You will see those. Now, if someone out there is offended by me saying this game is not that great, I'm sorry, but it's not. It's bland. And it's hard as shit for no good reason whatsoever. I mean, this is basically your aspect. You're this chick with a sword, and you get different colors as you progress through the game, and those colors allow you to turn into a certain dragon with certain powers. A red dragon, a blue dragon, and a green dragon. And you can turn into one by double tapping the A button. And you can shoot and all this stuff, but see, you don't want to use it all. I save them for the boss battle, unless the regular enemies are pieces of shit. And the regular enemies are very... they reuse the same, like, 2 or 3 enemies on each stage. It's like each stage has a set amount of enemies. And that... You see there's 2 bars. One's your health bar, that's the one on top, obviously. And the one on the bottom is for how much you can use your dragon. But you can get in and out of it as long as you have enough there to turn back and forth into it. Stop! I don't want to turn into a dragon just yet. The enemies in this game are hella annoying. The first couple stages aren't too bad. But after that, it just gets, frustrating. I mean, the highlight of this game is the game doesn't look too bad. It's just bland, like, gameplay-wise. I mean, you just walk and slash, and there's, like, nothing interesting going on. It's something that's been done a million times before. Now, see if I can beat the first boss with 3 bars of health. Come on. I feel like I'm playing Altered Beast, you know, the second stage where you're the dragon. I'm about to run out of my dragon power. Die! Ah. Oh, I got him. Woohoo! Then you get the staff, and you get to hear some kick-ass music, and then repeat how many times. I've never beaten this game. I got into the 5th stage, and I ran out of continues. But that's Dragon Fighter. Pretty damn good game. Worth a play if you like adventure games. But like I said, it's bland as shit. So if you're interested in games that are bland as hell, then give it a try. Right on. So this is I hope I say this right. Saiyuki World. Believe it or not, the sequel of this game was known as Wampum. The first game is more or less a port of Wonder Boy in Monsterland. And it's in Japanese. So, you know, it's a little on the difficult side if you don't know Japanese. See, Japanese. Moon language. That's what I call the Japanese language because it's so hard to understand. I respect the Japanese and what they're about. Trust me on that. I just think their languages are a little bit on the ridiculous side. So, this is pretty much just a reskinned Monster Hunter. You can see here's my sword and attack enemies, get coins. I mean, this is pretty much just Monsterland. Wonder Boy Monsterland. Just buy it for... If you're going to play a version of this, I would either suggest... the Sega Master System version. This port is... I don't know. I mean, the Japanese language barrier is already there, because this game you have to talk to people and get certain items and whatnot. So, I would say skip that game. But if you know Japanese, have fun! But I suggest the Sega Master System version. That was my favorite. And what's a TG16 version called? Bakira Man? I don't fucking remember. I'm not a perfect retro gamer. I just know certain things. Okay, here's Russian Attack, also known as Green Beret in the East, and I think it was an arcade game. Basically, you play as, and this is the American version, mind you. So hey, that's good. You play as, this is basically bootleg Contra with knives. I'm serious about that. This is. I mean, some people love this game. I can't stand it. I've beaten it once, and I will never beat it again, because this game is just monotonous as hell. There's there's 3 kinds of enemies. There's these guys that just run up to you, then there's the guys that jump kick, and then there's these guys in beige that have a gun, and they come after you regardless. I just find that, and these guys right here give you power-ups. And I save them, and you'll see why. You can use them on the landmines, or you can save them for the boss. I save it for the boss because, well, it makes it easier. And the boss is one of the most ridiculous bosses in video game history, in my opinion. Those are the jump kick guys. You gotta intercept them when they jump kick. Some people actually time it to where they can actually walk underneath those kind of guys that attack, but I can't. I just have to intercept their jump kick, as you just saw. Yeah, it's pretty bland, as you can probably tell. I mean, 2 players I never done, because, you know, people don't like me. I don't have any friends, so... so, well, it's the truth. Anyways, make a long story short, so I don't know how the 2-player is, and it might be a fun mode. I don't know. I guess I could set up 2 players on 1 controller, but that's still kind of lame. And that's the boss. Interesting, huh? Now this tune is cool, and unfortunately, the as much as I like this tune right here, the game repeats the music all the way until like the last stage. Just want you to hear it a minute if you can. I had to really dick with the levels to get it to where you can hear the music and my voice, because this headset's garbage. It works, but I don't know. It's I can't get the volumes right where you can hear both the music and my voice. So I apologize for that. If you can't hear the music, just play the game. Anyways, that's Rush'n Attack. As you can see, it's just Contra with a knife. Nothing too special, but this game holds a lot of nostalgia in a lot of people. So I don't mean you any disrespect. But I'm just telling you right now, the game isn't anything too special. But it is a fun game if you haven't beaten it before. Alright, so continuing on. Yeah, hopefully Konami doesn't flag me for copyright again, because they already flagged me once. Yeah, I mentioned that on my Patreon page. Yeah, they flagged me for... I put a video on my Patreon page, which is me beating Contra. And they basically took it down. And gave me a strike. Nice, huh? Well... Don't worry, if they kill me off of YouTube, I'll come back. I'll find ways. This is Jackal, anyways. I am so sorry. Okay. Jackal was released in the arcades here in America as Top Gunner, and then they released as Jackal, I think, elsewhere in Europe and Japanese market, I believe, is where they called it Jackal. But when they released on the NES, they called it Jackal. Look. This was back when they didn't give a fuck, so yeah. Confusion, abound for everybody. Right, so this is just, it's a top-down shooter, more or less. Instead of, it's like kind of like Super C, except you're in a Jeep. You can throw grenades. Super C, that wouldn't be right. Let's just call it like Commando, the Capcom game. That game's awesome. You should play it. But it's long. You gotta beat it 4 times to see the real ending, and it's not much of anything. But it's better than the arcade. Beating it like what, all the 4 stages, and then the game's over. Anyways, this game has a simple objective. You just kill enemies and save POWs. And if you save specialists, which are usually by themselves, they give you an upgrade to your grenade. You'll go from a grenade to a rocket. Like this guy, see how he's flashing, and I can shoot rockets now. Yeah, and if you get a lot of those guys, you'll get basically a rocket that can shoot full. I suck at explaining things. When your rocket explodes, it explodes in 4 directions, so you can hit more enemies that are around, and it does more damage. It's definitely helpful towards bosses. Makes short work of them very quickly. Now, what you do with the POWs is you'll see a heliport coming up soon, and you basically just drop them off and they get picked up. But at the same time, you gotta kill any surrounding enemies, otherwise they'll just kill you and you won't get any kind of bonuses. There, see now see how it explodes and it goes 2-way? I get 1 more, and I'll be able to get 4-way. Now, there's a helicopter that I need to get to, which is... We're almost there, to the helipad. But if you take too long, I think they take off, and they're like, fuck the POWs. You guys can have a sausage fest up in that fucking Jeep in there. I mean, Jesus, there's gotta be some sausage fest and some massive BO up in that bitch. You better believe it. You smell like 3-day-old jizz! It's because I masturbated 3 days ago and didn't wash my shit. You did what? You sick motherfucker! Ah, shit, and that happens too. That's what happens when you're not looking around. Anyway, so there's a helicopter. Obviously, unless you're blind. And if you're blind, then why are you watching YouTube? No, I'm not making any kind of offense to blind people. My wife is partially blind, so all respect for blind people. It's not their fault. Of course, it's kind of hers because she drinks too much sugar and fucks up her... Anyways, let's see if I can beat this first boss without even trying. It's just a bunch of tanks. That's pretty much it. And that's Jackal in a nutshell. Yeah, motherfucker! Right. So let's continue. That's Jackal. Fun game. Now we're gonna get to the shoot 'em up category. Gradius. This game's a dirty bitch, but it is awesome in its own right. Basically, you just shoot groups of enemies, get the pods, and you get as many as you can to get whatever power-up you desire. Like get 2 for missile, 3 for double shot, 4 for laser, etc. If you haven't played this, then you need to get your ass on an emulator and play it. It is a classic shoot 'em up. And it also was one of the first games to spawn this code. And it didn't work. What's the dealio? Hold on. It's not working for some reason. The Konami code. Up, up, down, down, left, right, VA, start. Huh. Or is it A, B in this one? Hold up. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A. Ah, there we go. Just goes to show you that my ignorance is still there. Now, unlike the arcade version of Gradius, you only get 2 options. Well, in this version you only get, you get 2 options in this one, but in the arcade one you get 4. Tell me how that makes a lick of sense. It probably has to do with memory, because the NES didn't have the best memory, but it had enough to do the job. Hell, the scrolling is a lot smoother than the MSX. You ever played Nemesis on the MSX? Dear God, that scrolling is like headache-inducing. I love the MSX too. It has some classic games on there, and Konami supported that bitch like it was its own console. You know what I mean? One of my favorite shooters on there is Space Mambo, which has still a little bit of choppy scrolling, but whatever. You know, I just don't understand why they couldn't just work on it some more and make the scrolling better, but I'm not a... What was MSX made? 1983? I was only 1 year old. Yeah, this is the first... I guess the first boss, because every boss after you fight something before the enemy ship is usually something like that. Like in the 3rd stage, there's like upside down volcanoes, and that one's even harder. Then, of course, here you go. You fight this ship, and you basically just take out the center and call it a day. And then repeat 7 more times, and the game is won. Well, except for the final stage, you really don't even fight a boss there. You get the Bacterian, and the game's over. It's weird. There's like no final boss. Right. So that's Gradius. Awesome shooter, as usual. It's old school Konami when they were at their best. Now, when we were kids, and some of you can deny it all you like, we thought this was Gradius too. Okay, this is obviously not the American version, but that's okay. This game doesn't use any American text other than, you know, the stuff you collect from the pods, you know, like speed up. See, it's still in English, so who cares? Right. I don't even know what version that is. It could be the American version, just someone botched the copyrights and shit. Because the Japanese version is called Salamander, and you see a little cool intro in the beginning. Like a little fireball goes over the logo. It's kind of neat. Anyways, we thought this was Gradius too, because it looks just like Gradius. Just has a little bit of, you know, extra shit in it, such as graphics and effects and We thought this was Gradius 2, but turns out this is not Gradius 2. This is a side story to, or a side game. You know, it doesn't. It's part of the Gradius series, but not quite. You're basically inside a living organism body, and there's another game that kind of took this approach too. It's called Abadox. And that's one of the hardest shooters anyone could ever play, I'm sure, if anyone's played it. It's only 6 stages, but those 6 stages make you pull your hair out and scream for bloody murder because the game is just ridiculous in terms of difficulty. It's doable, but it takes a lot of trial and error. I mean, to this day, I've beaten the game at least 3 times in my life, and each time I always have a hard time. It's a pain in the dick. Yeah, this game also, if you put in the Konami code at the beginning of the title screen, you will get 30 lives, just like Contra. Which is the only way I've ever been able to beat Life Force, because level 3, the fire level, can suck my dick in every way imaginable, because I hate it to death. Especially the part where the fiery phoenixes start coming about, and you get those little flying fucking tidal waves of lava. Yeah, this game can fuck right off. But I can do it with the 30-man code. One day I hope to beat this game without it, and I do practice every so often, but just meh. Alright, we'll beat the first boss, which we're coming up on, and move on. Yeah, but as you can already tell, this multi-cart has some great damn games. I mean, we just scratched the surface. We got plenty more to go. Now, I hope I'm not boring you. I probably am, because some of you were probably expecting a Let's Play, and that's coming. It's just, after last time, it's like, I'm kind of just, I don't know. I feel defeated in some way, you know, because I try to, you know, have commentary and talk and, you know, make you guys entertain, god damn it. And then shit like that happens, and then I get into shutdown mode. Well, damn. I won't die, though. At least I don't think so. Yeah. And then you've basically the perspective changes where you go vertical now. See? Yeah, you should really play this. It's an excellent game. I want to check something though. Actually, nah, never mind. Let's just move on. Okay. Ah, and now we got the Capcom shooter, Gunsmoke. The arcade one was, in my opinion, worse. This was the game to get. Now, I'm probably not going to get the boss, because you have to sit there and you got to basically shoot the environment and find a wanted poster, and it's just a pain in the dick. But here's the problem with this, the one on this cart. Notice the music is super duper fast. I don't know why that is. I mean, the music is just fucking on speed, like it's been injected with speed in its vein, and it's just going apeshit. I mean, it doesn't really affect the gameplay if you don't mind it. Some purists might, so. But basically, you keep shooting, and in the environment, you'll find a wanted poster just by shooting everywhere. Your thumbs get tired. I suggest using a turbo controller, like the Mac, NES Max, or Advantage. Otherwise, your fucking fingers are gonna get tired real quick. That's why I'm just... You go up to this bitch and she's like, "We're on your side." Okay, well, get on your knees and get this dick. I ain't just fucking doing this shit for free. Fuck off. I know. Sexist prick. That's me. Well, there's a dude, too. And if our little sheriff buddy here goes both ways, hey, he can have fun, they can have fun, too. You can get yourself a little pony. See? There's even ponies in this, so all you My Little Pony fans and bronies have a reason to play this game. I just want this game to get the recognition it deserves. It's really a fun title. Think of Commando in a Western setting. And it's a little bit more fair, at least in my opinion. So you can buy a wanted poster, but I don't have enough. But you see this game. You see how it plays. And you basically repeat that about 5 or 6 times, and then you fight the last boss, which you have to... He has like 2 forms, and he's ridiculously hard. That's what she said. Okay, so the next game is Thundercade, which is an awful game of an arcade port. The arcade game is good. This is not. Now, many of you may know the company Micronix. They ported a lot of arcade games to the NES, and this is one of those. Now, you say it's American Sammy, but American Sammy was the publisher. They weren't the developer. Micronix was. And Micronix uses some of the worst sound design in NES games and graphics. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look how choppy that scrolling was. It's ridiculous. And look at this game. It's a fucking mess. And Micronix also did the NES version of Ikari Warriors, for those who don't know. Which, I don't really give a fuck what people say. That's an awful game anyway. I hate Ikari Warriors. It is indeed a broken mess of a game that should not even exist. And same with this. This is... Well, the arcade version of this ain't so bad, but this is a poor representation of it. You have this music that sounds like some kind of like 80s intro tune. Thundercade! Thunder, thunder, Thundercade! No. Doesn't work. Sorry. I'm riding in the Thundercade! This game is bloody awful. That's Thundercade. That game is terrible. Just stay away. No bueno. There's nothing good about the home port of it. Micronix is cancer. Just stay away. Right. But this next game is not cancer. This is Legendary Wings by Capcom. Both the NES and arcade games are fantastic. They're shooters, obviously. I'm a fan of shooters, as you probably already can tell. So I suggest using a turbo controller for this as well. Basically, this was released in the arcades and then ported to the NES of, I think, a year after. It was 1988, I think. My dates are fucked tonight. Right, so I'm not playing too much into this, but I'm going to show you a couple things that what makes this game kind of unique-ish. Okay, first of all, you have this little face here that opens its mouth and sucks you in. And then you can go inside and it tells you danger, obviously, and you fight enemies in a side-scroll. Auto-scrolling, obviously, just like overhead. Now, you can avoid the breath of that face and just continue on, but I just wanted to show you the other aspect in this game. I don't even know what you would call those enemies. They're awful looking in design. I mean, there's not really not much to say. It's just a shooter. It's really good, though. I mean, it's fun to play. It has that old NES Capcom feel. I mean, this was also, in my opinion, when Capcom was at their best. When it came to, you know, different kinds of game, like genres and games and such. Because, to me, Capcom had 2 great generations behind them. One was during the Dreamcast era, where they were just releasing all their fighting games for the Dreamcast. I mean, you had, you know, the Japanese port of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, you had Alpha 3, you had Third Strike, even though I don't like Third Strike all that much, but, you know, fans of the game have, like, a damn near perfect port of it on there. I mean, it was later ported to the PS2, but you got it on Dreamcast first. You had Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I mean, you just had a shit ton of great games. And then you get to fight this little miniature boss. I suggest avoiding the breath, because it just, you know, you could bypass all that crap and to just go into the main gameplay screen, which is this. You know, as you can tell, there was nothing down there to get. Now, I think one of these enemies has like one of those little wind breath things, and it takes you to a special part of the game. Well, not special part of the game. I guess not. Unless, I don't think it's here either. Yeah, so, you know, just a shooter. You fight a boss, and then you go inside, and then you fight another boss. Repeat 7 times, something like that, and then you beat the game. Every boss in the inside of the temple's the same. It's just some mother brain looking thing in a ship. Just play the game, it's good. Okay. Yes. We all know this game. It's a Japanese version. That I did not know, because I have the NES version. The actual American version of this. That's kind of a drag, because this game has a little bit of... Let's see. Fuck you, Splinter. Okay, it's kanji katakana. Well... Alright, well, unless you don't really... Unless the language is not important and you don't care about the text, stay away from this. If you care, stay away from it. If you know the game and you know what's said, basically, like, you have my support by April O'Neil and whatever Splinter says here. If none of that matters, then go ahead and play. But why Japanese? Just put the American game on there, for Christ's sake. Since I've beaten the first Ninja Turtle game a long time ago with some friends, you know, the text don't bother me, but it might you. I don't know. Let's see what this one is. This looks like the American. Yeah, this is the American version. Mirage Studios USA. Let's see if I can do the code. Hold on. Fuck. Okay. Let me go to the demo screen. This is the arcade game, obviously. I don't think I need to play this. This side-scroll beat-em-up action. But the attack mechanic in this game I hate. You have to hit the enemy, wait like a couple seconds before you can hit him again. That's stupid. Now, if they just fixed that, this game would have been just a great game to play. But since it doesn't have that, I can't recommend this version. Now that we have consoles that have this game on marketplaces and such, I just suggest getting that version. But if you have nostalgic value for this, you can't go wrong. It's 2 players after all, not 4, unfortunately. They should have waited a couple of years and released this on the SNES with the multi-tap. But then again, Turtles in Time didn't have the multi-tap. Fuck you, Konami. Anyways. Let me see. I'm trying to do the code. It's weird. See if it worked. I doubt it. If it did, I'll be surprised. It did. So, you know what? I could just say, fuck y'all, go here. and I have 10 lives. But watch. Attack. See? You gotta wait a couple seconds before they're able to be attacked again. It's fucking retarded. Or you can just spam the little jump attack move with that move, which doesn't work all the time. Or you can just jump kick all day, which is how we beat the game when we were younger. Because when you're a kid, It doesn't matter how shitty something is in gameplay mechanics. If you have passion for it, you'll do it. It doesn't matter. See, with these things, you just stand behind and attack. I mean, it's really nothing. But yeah, that's Ninja Turtles. Sorry. So yeah, Ninja Turtles 2 is fine. Let's see what Ninja Turtles 3 looks like. Yeah, that's on here too. Is the American version, or is it the Japanese? It is the American version. Okay, now we're cooking. Has a classic cartoon art intro a little bit. Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in the Half Shell, Turtle Power. This is also two-player action. This was its own game. There was no port of this whatsoever. It was just... it was its own game. Like it wasn't a port of Turtles in Time. Now, this game came out, I believe, when Turtles in Time was in the arcade. I could be wrong on that. Because, I'll be honest, I didn't play Turtles in Time in the arcade ever until much later in life, when I was in my 20s. Place called Butterfly in Warren, Michigan. Or was it Sterling Heights? I don't remember. It was a long time ago. It's gone now, obviously, but yeah, they had Turtles in Time, the arcade game, and I didn't know it was an arcade game. I just thought Turtles 4 was, well, its own game. This game kind of fixes my gripe with the other game. You can just hit them right away, or you can use this move and kill foot soldiers. The only thing I have to say about this game that's bad is I think the stages are a bit too long, and you kind of get fatigued from just the monotony of it. Unless unless most beat-em-ups are bliss to you, then you'll have fun. You know, grab a buddy, grab a couple beers, maybe some pizza if you're into that thing, and play. Can't go wrong with it. It's Turtles 3, Manhattan Project. A hell of an expensive game, too. Now you may say, Turtles 4, what's this? Is this some kind of ROM hack? This isn't. It's the American version of this, too. I don't think this game was released in Japan. Anyways, it's Turtle Tournament Fighters for the NES. I think this is the rarest version because no one ever talks about it. Maybe a few people. Maybe a few YouTubers have talked about this at once or twice, but I don't know if you ever want to see it. It's pretty stale stuff. It's one of those games you play for an afternoon and then, you know, unless you're really, really fucking bored, and then you'll play it again, but I don't even know how to play this game. I never really looked into it. I mean, I'll look up a manual online and maybe give it a little bit more of a playthrough. Maybe I can do a Let's Play on this. But it's kind of a nice change of pace. You have different attack methods. I mean, you can grab shit and... So, that's Tournament Fighters. I suggest the SNES version of the game. The Genesis version has way too hard of AI. I wouldn't touch that game again with a 12-foot pole. Continuing. Of course, Contra. What version is it, though? That's the American version. I mean, you know Contra, but fuck it. I'll just, play it for a second, just in case you don't know. You play as these fucking... I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. Kill the Red Falcon, yeah. Put that cookie down now. Anyways, yeah, that's Contra. Overly muscly bound dudes with machine guns. I mean, that's what us boys wanted back in the days. We wanted to see manly men with guns in their hands taking out shit. It was beautiful. Not so much now. This is Super C. What version is this? Japanese. Of course. Which is okay. The game has no, needed English in here. the ending is just... You just saw the ending. You see basically that skyline scrolling, and with the helicopter and the credits rolling. That's the ending to this game. I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you, but that's your fault if you haven't played this masterpiece of a game. A lot of people prefer the original. I prefer this. This is my favorite Contra game, next to Contra 3. Even though 3 on hard is impossible for me, because I can't beat the third stage mid-boss, the one that slams against the walls, because he follows you on hard mode, and I just can't get the feel for it right. And I've tried many times, and I just said, fuck this shit, I'm out, I'm done. I just can't get past that part on hard, because it's ridiculous. Anyways, that's Super C. Awesome game, you should play it, and it's well worth your time. Grab a buddy if he likes running guns. Especially if you're a Metal Slug fan. There's no reason why you wouldn't like Contra. I think Contra's the better game, because you can shoot diagonally. If Metal Slug did that, then I would actually choose Metal Slug over Contra. Some little subtle differences there. Yeah, Scott, you know fucking English. Now, this is not a real Contra game. This is actually a canceled Famicom game, at least from my research. I could be wrong on this. It was called Arkhound. But for some reason they just slapped Contra Force on here, and it caused confusion. People thought that was Contra 3. Because at first it was, because if you look around, Contra 3's prototype was called Contra 4. Look it up on SNES Central. But see, this game has this horrendous slowdown. Music's okay. Nothing's too special. There's slowdown galore. I mean, you could tell this is a very unoptimized game. But it kind of plays like Contra. You know, this is kind of like a I want to say a side story to Contra. Kind of like how Life Force is to Gradius. And it has a power-up system similar to Contra. I mean, if you see the icons on the bottom, you get these little suitcases like what I just grabbed, and you can go ahead and press select, and then now look at that, I got a flamethrower, but you lose it as soon as you die. Nothing too special, you know. Yeah, but this is known as Arkhound in Japan. I think it was a canceled... The hell? Why can't I pause? There we go. And you can actually go ahead and choose another guy. Like, you can choose Smith here, and... At least I think so. Oh, there we go. Yep. Oh. Yeah, so you can choose your own guy. You can choose whoever you want to use. Which is kind of nice, but at the point, it makes no point, though, because as soon as you're hit, you're dead. I think that was it was a canceled Famicom game, though. If my research... Just remember, you are free to correct me. I'm always willing to accept if I'm wrong about something. Let me know. Anyways, that's Contra Force. Final mission. Now, this was actually released by Natsume, and you all know it in the West as SCAT, Special Cybernetics Action Team. But yeah, you hear these little Japanese phrases. This game was actually translated at ROM hacking, so if you want to, you know, just go ahead and use it on an emulator via PC or the Wii. I mean, that's my next bet. If you want to do emulation and you want to play on your old CRT, do it via the Wii. I think you'll be happy with that. But this game's pretty good too. It's another shoot 'em up, but it's extremely hard. You get different weapons like lasers and bombs and grenades, and you have that classic Natsume thrill. I'm sorry, I don't like Natsume anymore, because all they focus on is fucking Harvest Moon, and I'm tired of that series. I wish it would die already. It was fun the first 2 games, but beyond that, it's garbage. I'm sick of it. I want it to go away, and I want them to go back to making games like this. I think they made it. No, that was Shinin. I was about to say I think they made a platformer on the WiiWare, but no, I'm thinking of Shinin. They made like a bootleg Super Mario Galaxy on there or something. I can't remember the name of the game because I didn't buy it. Because I was waiting for Mega Man 9, I think, or 10 at the time. Long ago. So long ago. Ancient history. Which is when these games were made, but hey, these games were fun. I mean, that's the thing about NES a lot of people don't realize. I mean, yeah, they're difficult, but they're fun. And of course, after you lose 3 lives, you get the game over screen, obviously. And you will see that screen a lot, and you'll be hearing that music a lot, and eventually that music will be buried into your cerebrum, part of your brain. You'll just feel it drill in your head, and then you'll just suddenly be sitting there, and then that music will pop in your head. It's annoying. Good game, though, and it's fun to play with 2 players, and that's one thing that Natsume did a lot of, is they made 2 of some of the best 2-player games on the NES, next to Capcom and Konami. Because the next game is this beaut. It's known as Kage in Japan, but y'all know this is known as Shadow the Ninja over in this motherfucker. And if you played this game, it's fantastic. Now I haven't beaten this version yet, so I don't know if the ending is in Japanese or if it's in English, and if you want to tell me in the comment section, I appreciate that. I will eventually... What the hell was that? I just saw something fly. Oh. Anyways. Probably just like a fly or something. We had a couple warm days here in Oklahoma, and that was nice, but now it's getting cold again. But it's not as cold as some of you guys from the north are. Condolences. I used to live up there, you know. Up there in Midwest. Awful. What some of the work... Get off the fucking thing! Obviously you like the pull, you won't get off of it. Oy. Yeah, red gives you subtle amounts of health back, blue gives you the most, and you get shurikens and this fucking thing. It's like a whip, kind of like a whip with a hook attached to it. I don't know the name of it. And you get a sword and grenades, and you fight mid-bosses. This guy likes to do slide kicks. He's a little quicker than the American version, unless that's part of the game, because, you know, Gunsmoke was a little fast. Anyways, that's just a mid-boss. Yeah, then you continue on, and... yeah, the game is only 5 levels, but get a friend to play with you, and you'll have yourself a wonderful time. It's a great game. I would suggest playing it. It's fantastic. I'm serious. Give it a try. It's great.